This is how to change the transmission fluid in a 2009 Toyota Corolla. You're going to have to put the vehicle up on ramps or jack it up to get it in the air, because otherwise you can't get under it. Also have a jack stand here just for safety, even though it's not really going to do anything. It's just if, say, these ramps have an issue and they start to bow down from the weight, which they shouldn't do, then the jack stand will catch the car. On the passenger side, you have the oil pan. Then on the driver's side, you have the transmission pan. It's a lot bigger than the oil pan. It's right here. You're going to get your container to catch the old fluid. You're only going to get out about 4 or 5 quarts. This isn't going to get everything out, so if you want to get everything out, the easiest way would be to use the transmission cooler lines and just keep filling up your container and adding new fluid until the fluid gets as clear as you want it. Well, clear red, of course. It's because it's all red. It won't just be clear. I'll also show you later a comparison of the old fluid that's in here now to how the fluid looks later on, after the new stuff's added. They have bits that you can get for this. I'm just going to use an Allen wrench to open this up. Oh, that is if I can. This sucker's on here tight. I got an extension bar and a socket, and put the Allen wrench inside, give me more leverage. Wow, there we go, finally. Get your pan ready. This stuff should come straight down. Might have a slight angle because the car is lifted up. There we go. Let's set it down because it's going to get heavy. Let that drain out. Now the fun part. You have to remove the 19 10mm bolts. Before you do that, put the drain plug back in, snug it up. Then when you get all the bolts out, you gotta pull the cover down. And there's this plastic beauty cover here. You have to pull out this tab. I don't think it's gonna show up on the camera right now, but you'll see it when you get in here. Just pull this plastic crap out of the way. And this pan gasket's holding it pretty good, so we're gonna have to try to pop it off. Got it. Ooh, just made a mess. Next, you want to clean up the pan. Get the old fluid out of there. First, let's see if we can get the old gasket off in one piece. This gasket's really cooked on here. Oh, broke. At least it came off at one piece. Still some residue on the matting surface, so I'm gonna have to clean that off. There's also magnets in here. You want to check those. This is how you can tell if the fluid was ever changed in your vehicle, is you look at the magnets. If they're loaded up like this a lot with metal filings, then it's never been changed. If you see a small amount of filings, then it's good to say that it was changed at some point. So if you see all those filings, a lot of filings, then that means it was probably never changed in its original, so you might not want to put new fluid in. You'll definitely want to save the old fluid just in case you start having slipping, so you can put the old fluid back in. But if it looks like it's been changed before, as you can see here, there's very little filings in the magnets, then changing it shouldn't cause any harm. It's the magnet here. There's very little filings on it, which is good. Most of the filings occur during the break-in period, and they're not here, so this has been serviced. What I don't like about these magnets, they're not very strong. I think Toyota could do better with these magnets. Put those on the side, don't lose them. And there's a tab right there, it sticks up, it tells you where they go. This one has more filings on it, see? This one has more filings, but it's not a lot. Wipe out the pan. Looks like the inside of this pan is supposed to be black. You can use brake cleaner in here too if you want. You don't have to get all this stuff out. Just get out most of it. Done with that, I'm going to turn this upside down. Keep contaminants from getting into it until I'm ready to reinstall this thing. I'm going to go back under the car, and I got 3 bolts to remove the filter. They're also 10 millimeter. Probably going to get some more fluid coming out as well. These bolts are pretty long, so it's obvious you can't get them mixed up with the cover bolts. Now the filter should pull right out. Gosh, I was not expecting that. Be careful when you do this. That filter had a lot of fluid in it, man. Damn. Make sure the little, right here, there's a seal. Make sure it comes out. It looks like it didn't come out. I have to look in there. Might have to dig it out. Here's the filter I got at AutoZone. Comes with the gasket too. There's the part number up there, TF176, for this particular car. Before you go and get a filter and gasket, you want to make sure you count how many bolts there are on your transmission pan, because some cars have more, some have less. This car has 19, which is absurd. 19 bolts. That's crazy. While you're in here, if you know the specs, you can go ahead and tighten up all these bolts in here. They're 10 millimeters. What I usually do is I'll just check them to make sure they're all snug. I'm not going to over tighten it. I just make sure they're all snug. I'm not going to risk over tightening anything. So far they're tight. They don't move at all. This one's a little loose, so I'll snug it a little bit. This is optional, it's up to you. Because this is aluminum in here, so you can easily strip these out. There's so many, I forget if I tried to tighten those or not already. And the old seal is still in there, I can see it, so I gotta dig it out. Great. Before I can put the new filter in. Came out pretty easy. The one in my truck was a lot harder to get out. You can use new fluid or you can use old fluid, but I'm gonna put some fluid on this new seal just to help it get in there a little easier. Push it in, it should, well, it's not really gonna hold itself, so you're gonna have to get the bolts ready. Seen some people do is before they put the filter in, they'll spray this with brake cleaner all inside to clean out some of the old fluid. You can do that if you want. I don't know what the torque specs for these bolts are, so I'm just gonna get them snug. It's aluminum, so I don't want to go crazy. It shouldn't loosen up anyway. Then you're going to take a paper towel and clean the matting surfaces all the way around. Make sure it's clean for the new gasket. I put a bolt in ahead of time so that the gasket can't slide off again. What you're gonna have to do is just get them slightly threaded so that way you can maneuver it to line up the other bolts. I have my torque wrench set to 6 foot-pounds, and I'm going to go around in a crisscross pattern. So if I start here, then I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to do that one, etc. That's it right there. On the driver's side, right side of the engine, take out the dipstick. Put in the funnel. Consult the car's manual to see what fluid to use. Here are the different types of fluid that I got out of the car. These two unfortunately blended together, kind of. This is the original fluid here that was in there. And it appears it was changed. When I say original, I mean the fluid that I took out of the car. And this here is after I put 4 quarts of new stuff in, cleared up a lot. See, there's no more of this black stuff. Then this was after I took out through the drain bolt 4 or 5 quarts more, and then put in another 4 quarts of new stuff. So see, it's a lot cleaner. The best way I've found to check how clean transmission fluid or oil is to put it on a white background like this, and it has to be a white background that doesn't absorb liquids. I'll put some other fluid next to it for comparison. See, it's much cleaner. Much cleaner than the stuff on the right. This is the best way I've found to check how clean the fluid is. The cardboard doesn't really work as well because it absorbs it. Like you see here how it absorbed the dirt and contaminants, and then it let the rest of the fluid get absorbed. This actually filtered it in essence. And also make sure that you go around on the pan with your torque wrench and make sure all those bolts are torqued down to 6 foot-pounds. And you snug up the drain bolt, because if the drain bolt is slightly loose, the fluid will start to leak out. And that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the notification bell. If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave a comment.